Afternoon, folks. I thought I'd come on and do a quick little bit of a live here because I'm starting to see more and more people talk about this, and kind of wanted to set the record straight. With all of this disease, scare, and anxiety and everything, there's a lot of people that are saying, oh, the declaring of a national health emergency is a first step into martial law. And there's a few things that are wrong with what that is. Hold on, my computer's being silly here. Go away. Let's see. So one of the big things that they're saying is that with martial law comes the suspension of our rights. And the problem with that is that goes into the idea that our rights come from the government, that it's the Constitution that gives us our rights. And so during a time of crisis, the government has the right or the authority to take away those rights, which is stupid. And I'm just going to just lay it out there. It's stupid. Our rights do not come from the government. Our rights come from God. Okay? So if our rights come from God, and God has not declared the suspension of those rights, then nobody else has the right to suspend them or to take them away. If our government decides to declare that they are no longer going to protect our rights, then okay, understand that. Then you will be voted out, and we will find somebody who is willing to continue to protect our rights according to the Constitution. If you are a government that decides that you want to not only stop protecting our rights, but you want to start trying to violate them, then you become the enemy, and we'll do to you what we did to the Brits. So, I mean, it's a pretty simple, easy, understanding thing to do. Our rights come from God, and we elected you to protect those rights. That's what the Constitution does. It limits you, government, from trying to take away those rights, and it limits you and what you can do to us, the people. You are there as a servant of the people, and if you're no longer going to serve and you're going to actually be the one to go against those rights that you're supposed to be protecting, you're the enemy, and you will be treated accordingly. Now, I can say this. There's a lot of people that are going to see this video, and they're going to be like, stop saying that. The government's going to come after you. The government's not going to come after me. Okay? The government's not going to come after me. You're going to have a military who are sworn to defend the Constitution first, who are going to refuse to obey. They're the best trained military in the entire world. And if they try to order the military to turn on the people, the military is going to give them the finger, and they're going to say no. And then they're going to try to get the police force involved. And most sheriffs that I know of are going to say no. In Texas and Florida, you might have a couple of silly people in New York and California, but they can't even figure out what bathroom to use, so I'm not really worried about them. But the idea here that the government somehow has the authority to suspend rights is not found anywhere. It's not in the Constitution. There's no provision for martial law in the Constitution. In fact, there are plenty of laws in the Bill of Rights that are against it, including quartering soldiers in the home. The right to bear arms shall not be infringed doesn't come with a martial law clause. So for somebody to say, oh, the government's going to declare martial law and suddenly all of our rights are gone, well, then that makes our rights ephemeral rather than something that is part of our design as human beings. So if anybody calls up and says, or you see anybody posting up, oh, martial law, we should submit to the government because they have the right to take away all or the authority to take away all our rights during martial law. No, they don't. They don't have any authority whatsoever anywhere in any way. And the only way they can do it is by might of force. And if they try to do it through might of force, well, there's a way to deal with that. That's why the Second Amendment exists. So if you wanna give in to this fear, Yes, exactly so, Mark. The only time civil rights were ever suspended was by Lincoln during the Civil War, and Lincoln is one of my least favorite presidents because of that. If you see people who are saying, "Oh my gosh, civil or martial law, our rights are going to be suspended," we get ready. They cannot be suspended. I want to say that again. They cannot be suspended. It is a logical impossibility for them to be suspended. Yes, he was an idiot. I agree 100%. So if you have a government who claims to be suspending your rights, then you have a government that has declared that it is no longer going to defend your rights as they were elected to do. And you have a government that has decided that they are going to become your enemy. And we take all the necessary steps to oust them and put a government in place that will continue to defend our rights according to the Constitution. So that's all there is to it. It's a pretty cut and dried idea, but I've seen so much. It's like brains just shut off and minds are just completely stopping all rational thought. Of course, for the last 30 years, we've been shutting down rational thought anyway, but it's like all rational thought has suddenly decided to shut down, and nobody's thinking anymore. And so I thought I'd interject a little bit of reason here, a little bit of logic, and present to you what is the only case that can be made from the Constitution. The government has no authority, none at all, zero authority to go against the rights that are protected by the Constitution. And if they do, they're the enemy. So that's all I got to say about that. If you want to leave comments, if you want to share, that's great. If you leave comments after I'm done here, I'll respond to them as I can get to them. So y'all have a good one.